All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Thank y'all so much for coming over, man. Now look, we are back on Brother Charlie's channel. All right, y'all know I did that video the other day on the video he made about what are we doing to white people. What a crazy video, man. And now we got the anti-Asianness within the black community. Ooh-wee. Look, man, before I get started, for those of you who may be new here, let me just say this. All right. I don't lean left or right. I like to hear the truth and facts. I'm not a person who speaks like get emotional and just start, I like to hear people out. And that's what I think is missing today. A lot of people aren't listening. They're just talking. All right. There's a lot of evil in this world. Wrong is wrong. My whole thing is I just want to hear what this brother has to say because, growing up, I'm from South Central LA in the hood. All right. And I done made it out. And I'm here to inspire and lift up people. Just like the hat say, just be a good human. That's what it's all about. That's what I live by. That's my introduction for those of you who may be new here. Also, my wife, we've been together for 18 years. My wife is Filipina. Okay? So, just letting you guys know a little history of me. So, we going to check this out. Again, this is a brave brother to speak on topics like this. So shout out to him. I had to check this out. So we ain't gonna waste no more time. Let's jump right into it.
Hi guys, I'm here to talk about the rampant anti-Asian racism I'm seeing from the black community. I started this YouTube channel a year ago to bring light to this specific issue. If you're here because of my last video, I have one thing to ask of you. Please like and watch the video in its entirety. That will broaden the video's reach. At the end of this video, I make a public demand. So I already know what
I love that he's saying that because a lot of times people will watch a video and they'll hear something they don't like and then they'll leave the video and then they'll go talk about the person without watching the video in its entirety. Also, it'll get the video out there more. But I'm just talking about as far as people not watching and judging without even hearing the whole story. You feel me?
that will broaden the video's reach. At the end of this video, I make a public demand. So I already know what some of you are going to say. This is causing racial division. We need solidarity. Not all black people are doing this. Why are you generalizing? White people are racist against Asians too. Why aren't you talking about that? What about the anti-blackness in the Asian community? It's the media that's making it seem like black people are harming Asians more. Yeah, this video is meant for you to hopefully serve as a cold dose of reality. If you count yourself to be an open-minded person, I ask you to listen to what I have to say before jumping on to the comment section. The
Right.
precise reason why I want to talk about this is because we live in a society where we Asian people can feel free to talk day and night about how white people are racist against us, but are immediately silenced when we try to talk about the anti-Asianness in the black community.
And while I was walking down the street from my high school to Walgreens, I was walking with three of my friends from both China and Taiwan, crossing the crosswalk. There is a car just rushed through us, driven by an African American, shouting that go back to your home, like go back from where you are from. We're not hurt, it's just shocked and scared of our safety. And this white lady kindly asked, can I call the police? Can I do anything for you? We were like, it's okay. Thank you very much for your care. The point I'm making here is that we should not distinguish people by their race or gender or anything. Black people can be racist. White people, sorry. Oh no. I will make it. I will.
Look, man. I said it in the last video that I reacted to from him. All right. If anybody out there in the world know me, has ever met me, you know that I am one of the, if not the coolest person you have ever came in contact with. All right? And I'm also one of the realest. I'm listening to her. First of all, the vulnerability, the braveness to get up here and talk in front of everybody. But when she said black people can be racist too, and you heard people like booing and stuff and saying no, 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 that just proved, like, I'm gonna watch this full video, but I don't even need to watch no more. It just proved his point right there. It's true. And I said that in the last video, man. Let's just be real. Just be honest, man. It happens with everybody. But boy, we be saying some stuff, don't we? We are so racist against our own people. I'm just being real. And again, I am not into politics. I don't lean left or right. You know, I think all these presidents are puppets. So you ain't gonna come to this channel talking about, oh, he's a right wing, he's a conservative, he's a this, he's a no. Hell no. I'm a man who looks for the truth, you know. But what she just did right there and said, and then you heard what came after that, just proves his point. Dang. I'm over here listening to her feeling bad, man, because she sounds like she's on the verge of crying. And then you hear that.
By their race or gender or anything. Black people can be racist. White people, sorry. Oh no.
See?
I will drag this out.
Let her talk.
Let's start by saying I have very much a problem when a person of any race, white, black, Latino, or otherwise, commit hate crimes against Asian people.
Yeah.
It makes my blood boil. And let's also start off by saying that when a black person harms an Asian person, that doesn't mean that all black people are certainly responsible for that.
I don't know. I don't know what type of backlash or whatever he got from this video. But what he just said right there, he's speaking on, that's the thing. He's speaking on experience. He's not saying, like, I don't know this brother. He don't know me. So he ain't talking to me. He just talking about the people he probably encountered, you know, or people his friends encountered. I'm so cool with so many Asian people, man. Y'all just don't know. Oh my goodness, dude. This is sad, is what it is. It's very sad that all of this exists, man. But what the girl said is 100% true. Look, Chris Rock said it, and I'm sorry I'm pausing this, but I just need to speak a little bit. Chris Rock said it. If you ain't seen his stand-up, go watch that. Black people versus, when he talked about, I hate saying the word, I hate it. But he said there's a difference between black people and N-words. And boy, is he, go watch that stand-up. Go watch that.
Just as in the same vein, when a white person harms an Asian person, that doesn't mean that all white people are responsible for it. I think I need to say this because our world is going crazy.
Yes.
You are only personally responsible for things that are within your control.
Right.
You're only responsible for your own acts.
Right.
Nothing else. But then we can't just say black people harming Asians are the actions of the few and then end the conversation there. Because of the sheer magnitude of the problem. The near daily attacks, black people cussing Asian people out, punching and spitting and kicking Asian people and killing Asian people.
Yeah.
There are dozens to hundreds of these cases every month. Especially in the city of San Francisco, this is happening every day.
And I said that in my last video because my wife had showed me something. My wife is from the Bay Area, and she was saying like this was happening. And I was just like, my goodness, man. And it's crazy because I feel bad. Like why? It's the why, right? The why. Why is this happening? You know, like I said, evil is evil, but at the same time, it's just like, what is the motive? Well, like what? I don't know, man.
And if you're saying hundreds, you're exaggerating. This is why I need to make this video. People are not realizing the magnitude of what's going on because the national news media is not broadcasting this fact as incessantly as one might expect if there were hundreds of videos each month of black people getting punched, spat on, and kicked. Only the rare, exceptionally grotesque cases makes it onto the national news. At the height of the pandemic, they shined a quick and passing light on a number of these videos only because within that concentrated period of time, it became too obvious that this was happening and they could not afford to ignore it without losing the public's trust. But this is happening to this day, and your average anti-Asian hate crime makes it all the way up to local news. And the scattered and dispersed nature of reporting on what is happening means this problem is not rising to the public's consciousness. If you want to see the true scale of what's been going on, I recommend you watch my very first YouTube video I made a year ago. I listed out the black on Asian hate crimes that happened within the span of a month.
Dang.
It's one after another happening day after day. And bear in mind, these are only cases that A, is reported to the police, and B, that the news media picked up on. It's a small subset of a subset. In reality, there is a bigger undercurrent of this rampant anti-Asianness that we're talking about. Just within my own circle, I know multiple cases of this happening. They didn't report it to the police and it wasn't picked up by the news. How many more cases like this are out there? And at what point, after hundreds of these videos, do these cases no longer constitute isolated incidents? So then here's the most important conversation. If this is happening, what do we do about it?
Right.
As I've said, this doesn't mean that all black people are doing this or that all black people are anti-Asian. But no matter how many times I say that, I found people still go like, oh, why are you generalizing? It's such a disingenuous attempt to deflect from
Oh, God, I hate that. I hate that when you say things that is based off of your experience. First of all, let me just say this as well. It's a lot of people out there that are saying things, right? And that never been through nothing. This brother sound like he's been through some stuff. Or he's really, really close to people who have. And when you feel like you can't do not, like when talking about it ain't enough, it's like you feel like you can't do anything. And this is what I be talking about, man. That's one of the reasons why I made these shirts with that message on there, because it's an icebreaker. My whole thing is like, if you see me walking, I'm 6'5", 235 pounds. You see me walking down the street, you know, I get a lot of people looking at me like, because I'm tall or whatever. But when you see this message on my shirt, it's an icebreaker. It means that I come in peace. You know how many people back in 2020 when I used to walk around, how many people I could see smiling through their mask when they were reading my shirt? You know, it's me coming in good intention. So if someone see my shirt and they start acting crazy with me, I know that they have issues. They have issues. I love everybody. You know, I always come in peace. I'm a uplifter, an inspirer. I want to make people laugh and like have fun and stuff like that. So when you see people like this being so vulnerable, because this is so near dear to his heart, as a black man, even though I know he's not directly talking to me, but I mean, hey, whoo.
Having a conversation about this. And the conversation should go like this. We can all agree that when a black person commits an anti-Asian act or an Asian person commits an anti-black act, that doesn't mean that the entire communities are responsible for their actions.
Right.
But to the extent that we're having group level conversations, for example, about the anti-blackness within the Asian community, so too do we need to have group level conversations about the anti-Asianness in the black community. And the reason why this continues to happen is because we're not doing that. If you're saying, oh yeah, we already do, no, we don't. Conversations in private circles do not count. I'm talking about public discussions. I've kept up with these conversations. I've seen our Asian community so-called leaders have conversations with black community leaders on TV about race relations and talk over and over again about the anti-blackness within the Asian community. And not a single sentence on the anti-Asianness in the Black community. Amazingly, I've seen mainstream news channels do special segments about Stop Asian Hate and mention within these segments the anti-Blackness within the Asian community without saying one word about the anti-Asianness in the Black community on a segment that's supposed to be about our issues. Our Asian leaders having conversations, doing public speeches, and on social media call out the anti-Blackness within our own, which is the right thing to do, but they stay silent as hundreds of videos emerge of Black people brutalizing Asians. I've been to Stop Asian Hate rallies and have seen, again, our so-called leaders denounce on stage the anti-Blackness within our community and talk about how white supremacy is dividing us all, and not a single word on the anti-Asianness within the Black community. And in those same rallies, I've seen Black activists, which thank you from the bottom of my heart for showing up. But I've seen them come up on stage and talk about anti-Asian hate without mentioning how there's a real anti-Asianness problem in the Black community. In fact, I have not heard a single Black activist, community leader, politician, media personality with a platform publicly mention a sentence about the rampant anti-Asianness within the Black community, much less have a long and sustained conversation about it. With the only exception of Sean King. I've seen Asian people be demonized for talking about anti-Asianness in the Black community on social media and in real life, while when Black people talk about the anti-Blackness within the Asian community, everyone nods along as a matter of course. And if you're wondering why all of that is going on, because it wouldn't seem to make sense, right? Why this disparate treatment? The mainstream narrative is that even if it's not a white person harming Asians, it's still white supremacy, because white supremacy pits communities of color against one another. And so even if Black people harm Asians, white supremacy is to blame. And then we're told we can't have a conversation about anti-Asianness in the Black community because it's divisive and we need solidarity and unite against white supremacy. Well then, doesn't that same logic flow to the anti-Blackness in the Asian community? If supposedly white supremacy is at fault when Asian people harm Black people because it pits communities of color against one another, isn't talking about anti-Blackness in the Asian community also problematic for that same reason? Because it's divisive and we need solidarity, unite against white supremacy, all of that?
Hey, I know my wife I got a t-shirt, I got a hoodie, like a Stop Asian Hate. This brother, people hate hearing the truth. I guarantee I can say this with confidence. I know I have to remind myself, like, when sometimes you're cool with people but you don't really consider them friends by the definition of friend. Like, it's a lot of people I'm cool with, but I don't have their number, they don't have mine. You know, we may be following each other on social media platforms, but other than that, we don't like see each other like that. But it's people you cool with, people you may have grown up with. But I know a lot of people who will watch this video and have an issue with it because it's the truth. You see what I mean? I feel like if you're a person of the truth and you don't put yourself in politics and stuff, it's easier for you to listen to this stuff like this because you're not being pulled one way or another. You're being pulled to the truth. This brother is spitting facts right now. He is spitting facts. It's so true. And I can say that with confidence. Because I've witnessed some of my people, the stuff they say, you know, as far as doing stuff, no. But the stuff they say, oh yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. But I'll give you another explanation that I think more accurately describes what's going on here. What's actually going on here is that the Black community has greater political power than the Asian community within the political aisle that purports to represent all of us, the progressive left. With this disparity in political power and influence, we're seeing a situation where anti-Blackness in the Asian community is being publicly discussed, but not the anti-Asianness in the Black community. And this, is the reason why I feel the need to speak up against the wokeism ideology that has taken over the progressive left, because that is the thing that is underlying all of this. Because according to the ideology, there are two categories of people, the oppressor and the oppressed, with all the dimensions with which you could form discrete categories of people, race, gender, sexuality, so on and so forth. And within the category of the oppressed, there's rankings of the groups by how oppressed they are. And according to the dictates of this belief system, you can say whatever you want about the oppressor group, but you cannot say anything critical about groups that are higher up in the ladder of oppression, while you can say critical things about the groups lower in the ladder. And so what this ideology does is it accords groups highest up in the oppression ladder the power to dominate social and political discussions as it pertains to these group categories. That is the whole thing behind what so many people believe nowadays, that you cannot be racist to white people because they're in the oppressor group, and that black people cannot be racist because they don't have the power to be racist.
Damn. It's so funny because, like, when you get someone that's well educated and they know how to speak correctly, and he just basic like this. Dang. I always talk about emotion. You can tell that he's emotional because it's near dear to his heart, but at the same time, I notice when he speaks, he'll put his head down and then it lifts up because he's just trying to like really say this to where people can understand where he's coming from, Dang. Let me hear that again. That was so, oh man. When you listen to that, damn, that's so true.
Whole thing behind what so many people believe nowadays, that you cannot be racist to white people because they're in the oppressor group, and that black people cannot be racist because they don't have the power to be racist because they're the highest up in the ladder of the oppressed category.
Sheesh.
And all the things that I've said earlier about how anti-blackness in the Asian community is discussed in the public sphere, but not the anti-Asianness in the black community, that is a manifestation of this belief system. Some people are under the belief that we can't talk about anti-Asianness in the black community because they're the most oppressed, and will silence you by saying that talking about it is divisive.
Right.
But they don't say it's divisive to talk about the anti-blackness within our community. And in effect, this gives the black community the power to escape accountability because they have a support system of people of all races who believe that to hold the black community accountable is to perpetuate the oppression of the group highest up on the oppression ladder. And they will attack and vilify anyone who dares to speak about it.
Yo.
As it stands, we Asian people are free to talk about the racism we experience from white people all day long. No social repercussions. But we cannot talk about the racism we experience from black people without being canceled.
Black people can be racist. White people, sorry. Oh no.
Society tells us that we cannot talk about it. Then what that means is that you don't care about the racism we endure unless it fits your worldview and your agenda. So you don't care about anti-Asian racism, you just want to use us as a political pawn. And the same people that adhere to these views, many of them
I tell you, man, when it gets political, it gets nasty. It gets, again, when it's about an agenda, that's when, hey, look, man. I agree, man. I agree. I'm like listening to him. This brother is 1000% correct.
Our own people attempt to put blindfolds over themselves and others in order to explain facts that contradict their belief system. They see hundreds upon hundreds of these videos that have emerged last year, and they say it's the anti-black media that is making it seem like black people are brutalizing Asians, when it's white people doing it more. I'm sorry, but oh my god, am I exhausted with this conspiracy theory BS. Really? The media? The same mainstream media that espouse progressive views all day long, with the one exception of Fox News? The MSNBC show that has repeatedly had on people that talk about white people having a violent character? Or is it CNN, who will run breaking news segments when a sensational story about a white person inflicting violence on a person of color comes along, but tweets that a car killed 6 people when a black man who professes hate for white people on social media rammed through 6 white people during a Christmas parade?
Yeah,
is it the
I heard
mainstream
about that.
media that is making it artificially seem like black people are disproportionately harming Asians? Or is it the case that people are pointing to the less than usual instances where the media is actually showing what's happening on the ground and then saying it's anti-black to show it? The kind of reaction and public backlash which is the very reason why the media tends not to do this in the first place. And let me ask you a few more questions. If it was actually the case that hundreds of these videos are not representative of reality, that white people are doing it more, and that there are thousands of videos of white people brutalizing Asians that the anti-black media is surreptitiously hiding for the public, wouldn't we have noticed by now? If there were actually thousands of videos of white people brutalizing Asian people, isn't it far more likely that the media will be broadcasting it day after day, talking about this emergency, how white supremacy is endangering Asian Americans, since that has been their talking point all throughout? And if there were to be, hypothetically, hundreds of videos of Asian people beating, spitting, and kicking black people, will we not be hearing relentlessly in our public
Boy.
discourse how the Asian community needs to address the anti-blackness within? Wouldn't the black community rightfully be demanding that of us?
Boy.
So why aren't we? We need to start standing up for ourselves. Look, I don't need to say much more. If you're interested, you can watch the full 2-hour video I uploaded a year earlier. Just want to reiterate yet again, if you're a black person who is out there living their life and have done nothing to harm Asian folks, you are not responsible for any of this. Nobody is entitled to demand anything of you just because other black people are committing anti-Asian acts. And I just want to send a clear message to Asian folks that just because this is happening to us doesn't then give us license to respond back with hate to those black people who are not doing this to us. Having said all this, the calculus is different for black communities, political and thought leaders and organizations who are engaging in public race relations discourse in an inequitable manner. So I would like to make the public demand the same demand I made a year ago in my original video. I demand that leaders of the black community whose only comments about the rampant anti-Asian violence amounted to "it's because of white supremacy" to publicly state that anti-Asianness within the black community is a serious problem. And I demand that they lay out a plan, steps to take to curtail the black on Asian racial violence that has pervaded our society without anyone saying anything. If we as a society are having ongoing public conversations about anti-blackness within our community, so too should we expect ongoing public conversations about the anti-Asianness within the black community. Thank you for watching. Wish me luck.
Now look, I'm going to say this because I reacted to his video the other day about what are we doing to white people. And I seen that it's a lot of black people that reacted to that video. All right. It's a lot. I didn't see too many black people reacting to this. Just wondering why. Just wondering why. Now look, like I said, or like he said, he's not talking to people who have nothing to do with this. He's talking to the people that, like, just all, again, evil, man, evil. I'm not looking for no president to help us. We have to help us. You know what I mean? We have to come together as humans, man. I don't think this video is divisive at all. This brother said so many times that he is not talking about everybody. You know, I said he's not talking. Again, I don't know if you guys know. I don't know if you can see, but I am black. I love the Asian community, man. Y'all just, woo, love. It hurts to see this brother feeling this way just because, like, it's so much truth in here that he was talking about. As I've gotten older, I talked about how my circle has gotten smaller. And we're living in a world today where no one really wants to they don't want to take accountability, but they're quick to take handouts. You know what I mean? A lot of people play the victim role, never were the victim. Like, I talk about, like, you know, when I talk about, like, slavery, I know that it exists. You know, I know a lot of people out there probably wish a lot of people still were slaves. I know that exists. I know that's in people's thoughts. But what I know for damn sure is that I never was a slave. And I refuse to have that mentality. I'm a person that works hard for things. And I know that you have to go and get it. You know, stuff ain't gonna be handed to you. Do some people get treated different in the world? Hey, yeah. But there is a thing that's called karma. You know, a lot of times when people think they're just skating through life, you know, handing everything, having everything handed to them, you know, that's not a good thing. And if you don't know, if you don't have any work ethic, it's gonna come back and bite you in, and you know what, you know. But what this brother was talking about was 1000% correct. Yeah, I can say it without a shadow of a doubt that black people can be racist. Oh yeah, yes. I already said every race can be, you know, but just because you are a certain color, that doesn't tie you into the history of things. You know, it's just crazy. It's crazy. If you're a bad person, you're a bad person. It ain't got nothing to do with color. But I do see a lot of, again, man, go watch that Chris Rock video if you haven't seen it. That video literally breaks it down. But shout out to brother Charlie for just having the courage to speak out, you know. And if you black and you got a problem with what he's saying, you probably part of the problem, because this brother is speaking facts, and he didn't disrespect nobody, because he's literally talking to the people that are part of the problem, and he did not include the people who aren't. He didn't say all y'all. He didn't say all y'all black. You know what I mean? Dang. But all right. Again, appreciate you guys coming over and watching. I know this is different. I know it ain't music, but I do feel like a video like this is very important. I want to see how this video is going to do. I can't wait to actually see the comments on this. Again, you cannot come in my comment section talking crazy to me. Ain't no way. I am from South Central LA. All right. The ghetto. And I don't lean left or right. So what you got? Huh? What you got for me? I dare you. All right. Peace out.